Hello everybody. Today we're going to be talking about addressing your problems, and I'm just gonna get to it. To be honest, I'm kind of that kind of a person. I just like to get to it. So, addressing your problems or ignoring them. A lot of people just don't address their problems, or they ignore their problems, or they delay addressing problems. And what happens is when you delay addressing problems, is usually it gets worse. It's kind of like ignoring the fact that you're gaining weight and you should go exercise and lose the weight and eat healthy. People delay it, and this will, I'll do it next year, I'll do it next month, whatever, next day, you know? People keep delaying things, and usually the problem just gets worse. A lot of people kind of do this because, or they just plain ignore it, is they do this because of the fact that it's easier to ignore problems and delay fixing something than it is to actually fix it, because fixing things is hard, right? Fixing a problem is hard. That requires mental and physical effort usually to fix a problem, like fixing your, I don't know, mental health, fixing your physical health, I don't know, fixing even, let's say, a car, fixing even, or doing something hard, or fixing your career path, for example, or trying something new, like fixing an area money problem you have. A lot of these things take effort because life is hard inherently. So a lot of people just don't bother because it's like, it's too hard. I see that guy over there, he's doing, pretty good, and he's like trying. I can see that, I'm kind of jealous, but I'm just gonna not do anything because it's too hard. I'll just like keep watching and doing my thing, over here, and just like delaying and pretending it doesn't exist. The problem I have, like, I don't really have enough money, I don't have a good body. I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever, I would like to have a nice body, but too much work. Like, that's how people think, most people anyway. That's pretty much what it goes in their head. They're like, yeah, that's pretty cool, I'm not gonna do that because I'm too lazy. And it's when I hate my life and everything. Like, that's pretty much how most people go, which is funny to me. That's kind of the problem why we have a lot of people struggle mainly just because they don't even bother trying. Like, I could have stopped trying a long time ago, like before I even started, or when I started I could have quit, and I wouldn't even be in this position where I'm at now if I quit and didn't try. But I actually ended up trying, and I actually got further, in a sense that, not that I could have dreamed of, but like further than I actually thought maybe even I would need. And it's like, just think about all the potential there is if you just try, and you never know what's gonna happen. And at the end of the day, you got one life and you got one chance. Like, some people might say like, oh, but I have tried. Some people might say I've tried for 20 years and I failed. There's always a possibility that you try for 20 years and you might fail. But at least you know what happened. Like, would you consider is it really a waste that you tried for 20 years, for example, and you failed? You still at least know that you tried, and at least you don't have it in the back of your head like that, where you feel like, okay, I know I tried, I failed, so at least you know, okay, I did my best. Like, if you want to give up at that point and you tried for 20 years and you failed, that's fine actually. I'm completely fine with that. If you want to quit and give up after you've actually tried and put in the effort and you still failed, like, I can actually say that if you want to give up, I'll definitely give you the option. You don't have to try anymore if you don't want to. Like, at that point I understand. But if you haven't even tried, then I can't really like say much, to be honest. Like, you should probably just like give it a shot at least if you have something you want to do. I think everybody has this wrong idea of self-development as well, where you need to be like achieve something massive or become this like super rich whatever. It's not just about becoming like super rich or achieving these unrealistic things or something, like getting to the top 0.1% of society or top 1% even of society. It's not just about that always in self-development. People take things way too far, and people think that even achieving something smaller is not a good enough thing. You don't have to be the biggest person ever to be successful or to have a good life. Like, you don't need to take self-development to such a extreme. In a sense, people think about self-development in the wrong way, where they think it's just about becoming this some kind of massive influencer or becoming a multi-millionaire or becoming a billionaire or something, and being like some Andrew Tate or something. That's what people think about self-development. It's like it's this extreme thing. You have to like achieve massive things, and it's like otherwise it's a waste of time if you don't become this and that. But the whole point of self-development is just to develop more yourself mentally, physically, whatever, money-wise, spiritually, and to become better over time. That's the whole point. People think too extremely, and sometimes even too big. They don't appreciate the small wins. They don't appreciate the small steps they're taking, the small developments they're taking. And people forget to enjoy life sometimes, and just enjoying what they're doing. And everything's kind of about money. Sometimes you just can just find fulfillment and enjoyment in things. Yes, money is important to make ends meet. And if you want to turn a hobby into a business maybe, that's fine too. And you want to make money out of your hobby, that's fine too. But it's like, people focus too much on these things sometimes, I think. And there's nothing wrong with big dreams. But not everybody needs big dreams inherently. Or need to try to become something, That's just my take on that. But anyways, that kind of was related to the topic. But addressing the problems, I would say the main thing is just starting now, instead of becoming this kind of bitter person and just complaining. And a lot of people do this where they inherently go and complain later that they didn't do something when they were X 20s age, and now they're like 30 or 40 and they're like, it's too late for me. And if you're 40 and you feel like you should have done your dream at 20, yeah, it is kind of late because you're 20 years late. You kind of realize that now. And that's true. It is harder when you're 40 than it is when you're 20 and full of energy, and you have more free time, maybe more energy, more maybe money even to do something. Maybe not money so much, but in general, you probably had more of a chance when you're 20, when you start doing something like building a good physique, building a business. Everything's easier when you're younger. The younger you start, the better, pretty much, because you can just make a lot of progress. And when you're older, it's just naturally going to decline, like your energy and everything over time. You're just not going to be as driven as when you're young and full of, like, men are full of testosterone, and you're full of drive when you're younger, when you're compared to in your 40s. It's just a fact. So I'm not saying you cannot achieve something between like 40 and 60, for example, but it's just going to be a lot harder when you get older. And you might have a family and all these obligations. So I would say this is why I say address problems now, especially if you're in your 20s. In general, between 20 and 30, even 30 and 40, just address those problems and start doing something now, instead of complaining later, or even complaining now, because you don't really benefit from complaining. I could complain that I didn't start doing fitness when I was like 14 or 15 years old, like I didn't start taking the gym seriously when I was at 14, 15, that would have been optimal. So I would have now have like 10 years of training under me. Right, I could complain about that, or I could complain about not starting a business at 14 or 15, right? So there's a lot of things I could complain about not starting earlier. So it's best to just start now and do what you can, because that way you can get closer to your best life faster. And address the problems you have, and stop delaying problems if you see them. For me, it's always been, if I see a problem, I just straight up want to fix it straight away, because the faster you fix it, the faster you get peace of mind, the faster you can start working on other things. So that would be my message in this video, is just address your problems and work on your soft development, and stop like soft quitting things. That's where a lot of people fail. If there's a will, there's a way. Thank you for watching.